Ребята, всем привет! Я решила сделать для вас интересное интервью с очень важным человеком, который отвечает за финансовое благополучие игроков НХЛ. Его зовут Роман Фрадкин, и он расскажет нам о том, как правильно инвестировать деньги, как получить из 10 миллионов долларов 100 и назовет имена своих некоторых звездных клиентов. Приятного вам просмотра! So tell me about yourself and about Fradkin Management Group.
Well, thanks for asking. First, thanks for having me on your show. My team is part of an organization which is one of the biggest banks in the world, World Bank, a small sports group that, focuses on helping athletes with all aspects of their financial lives. And my team in particular, we focus on hockey. I happen to have been born in Russia, St. Petersburg, so I'm fortunate to speak Russian. Я чуть-чуть по-русски говорю. Maybe more appealing to the Russian guys. But my team and I, we help our clients and their families really develop good habits, make the most of the opportunity they have. As you know, have a very short career and they have an opportunity to make a great deal of money to help themselves and their families for, sometimes many generations because just there's so much money coming so quick.
So you offer investments?
Yeah, investment service things we help clients do is open up bank accounts in Canada or the U.S., depending where they're playing, the National Hockey League. And that way the teams can pay right into their accounts. We help them set up Visa cards, access to cash in different currencies. We help them manage their currency. If we have players that go home to Sweden or Finland or Russia, for the summer, we can help them convert the money into the currency they'll use at home.
Mostly you work with NHL players, right? It's like...
Yeah, we currently work with about 40 NHL players and about a handful of really top, high-end young guys that are just finishing their junior career. And, it's a great privilege. I've been doing it 15 years, so we've got to meet a lot of really great people and help them directly or indirectly.
But you also work with the Russian big stars, not only with the juniors, right?
Yeah, no, of course, we're very fortunate. Yeah, we work with guys like Dmitry Kulikov, Nikita Gusev, Evgeny, and Andrei Svechnikov. And they're big stars and they're great guys. And that's, what I would say, the best part about this business is we help them in the things they need help with, and we develop good personal relationships. And as good as they are on the ice, they're equally, if not better, off the ice.
The friendship is possible between you and your client.
I think if you have a professional relationship or, with a guy, I can throw out some names, but guys like Jonathan Bernier or Dale Weiss, players that I've known for, 8, 9, 10 years,
you
develop a personal connection. And, and sometimes it happens fast, sometimes it takes years, but yeah, I'd like to think there's a friendship, when you start working with a player, they're 19, 20 years old, they meet a partner, get married, have children, and as their career develops and they make more money, their life, gets more complicated because, they enter relationships, have children, move different cities.
Who is your closest friends from Russians? Could you name someone?
I'm gonna take a lot of heat if I pick favorites. No, there's a lot, but I spent, Alex Bermisrov's the guy I spent 10 years with.
Wow.
Since he was a young guy, a guy like Ivan Telegan, we spent a lot of time together when he trained and lived in Winnipeg. I currently live in Vancouver, so, there's some guys here that I've developed really good relationships with, but again, like all the Russian guys are great guys. I mean, I'm fortunate to know guys like Dmitry Kulikov and the Svechnikovs are special kids.
Have you ever visited Russia? I think they invited you here, yeah?
I wish I got to go more, but we left in 1990, so I was still a young guy. And I only went back once when Kazan won the championship, and Alex Bermisrov invited me for, their celebration and his wedding. It was all in the same week, so it was a perfect week. I couldn't say no, so I dropped everything and I went, and it was a really good experience,
So you flew from Vancouver to Kazan, yeah?
I flew, it was a longer trip. It was through Toronto, Istanbul.
Yeah.
So it was a long day, but it was definitely worth it. I got to spend a week meet a lot of his friends. I'm really close with his family, so it was nice to see his parents again.
Yeah, sure. Tell me, how deep you involved in hockey in general? Like, you visiting the games maybe over the season? Maybe you have some team that you're rooting for, maybe Canucks?
Yeah, you know what? I grew up in Winnipeg after we moved, and I was going a couple of times. So, I mean, it was nice to see the team come back because the hockey, small cities really love their NHL. I'm really involved with this really small circle. So I've been very fortunate to work with a lot of the top agents through some of the top players that I get to work with. Mm-hmm. And I go to a lot of games. I probably would say I'd see 50, 60 games a year in different cities. A couple of juniors, some AHL. And, we obviously miss them very much right now with what's going on in the world. And it makes you appreciate, kind of how great every day is when we get to do what we enjoy and what we love.
So before the deal, when you're making a deal, you personally talking to the players, or you have some like helpers?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. No, it's always direct. We usually get an introduction from teammates, or maybe from a player agent, or player's father or mother have a relationship with another family, and they say, hey, this is what helps us out. I would say the majority of my clients come from introductions from other players or families. Mm-hmm. And we'll just go meet with them and sit with them just, at their home. They're, a lot of the time involves a lot of travel, but, for the relationship, it's very important that we go do it. And then, for work with a couple of great players in Calgary, Braden Point on Tampa Bay, mm-hmm. Cale McCarr of the Colorado Avalanche, and I introduced their fathers because Braden's father does a lot of on-ice skating work, and Cale joined them, and there's a couple of other players, and it's kind of nice. And now the families have a connection and a good relationship, and the boys skate together. Really, they're both such high-level players that it helps them in the summer. So there's that sort of interaction, Yeah. And that's a really great point that you point out. I think what we try to do early on is explain to the player that, they have us that help them with their finances, but, they also have their agent that they can bounce ideas off. They have their parents, mm-hmm. and they have 3 people that they know really have their best interest at heart. And when all 3 of us are giving them the same consistent advice, mm-hmm. it helps them make those decisions. And getting back to the personal relationship, I think that's really important because once they get to know me and my team as people, and they recognize that, we're in this for the long term, we're doing this for 15 years. I'm 39 now, so I don't know where the time went, but, probably going to work for another 25, 30 years. So, you they know that it's going to be a long-term relationship. And if, we help them develop good habits early on, they're going to do really well, and they're going to help themselves and help their families.
Could you describe, without any names, your biggest deal with a hockey player?
Well, to define deal, just to, our core business is helping clients invest money. So, you can look up, the salaries are public knowledge. So, when you have guys that are 23 years old making $7, $8, $9 million, it's very serious money. And, you multiply that over the next 7-8 years. A lot of these kids are going to make over $100 million US playing hockey. So, from a very early age, early 20s, just help them develop good habits, understand the sort of companies to invest in, why, the prospects, and do it all with kind of a limited amount of risk or very little risk, just to ensure that their money is protected for the long term. And also a big part of what we do is help them shield away. These guys get approached all the time in terms of doing sort of restaurant investments, real estate. Yeah. And, there's there's lots of press and a lot of stories about the circle of professionals that operates in the NHL. I think has done a good job in steering players in the right direction, that you don't hear very many stories. And certainly not with big banks like ours. We're very conservative, very disciplined, and, we make sure that their money's safe. We help them right from the onset. We set up a cash flow plan. So we say, here's how much you're going to make. Yeah. How much is going to be taken off escrow is how much the NHL keeps during the season. Then you have your lifestyle expenses, rent, groceries, telephone, shampoo. Then you have your business expenses, You have to pay the Players Association, your agent, insurance, accountants, and then you have tax. So, you know, you might be making $5 million, but at the end of it, you know, a lot of it comes off. And tax is one of the biggest adversaries for professional athletes. They pay a lot of tax. So there's some really great strategies that we have for guys coming to Canada or in the U.S. to really limit their tax exposure. And it all depends on different players, where they're from, where they're going to live. We've been very fortunate to help a lot of Russian players with a strategy that when they come to Canada, they can really greatly reduce their tax.
Can you describe how your work changed now, like this quarantine time and coronavirus?
Yeah, well, I mean, like, first of all, you know, you just think of everybody who's out there who has to work, and like we're working from home. You know, because of the travel and the nature of the business that I'm in, I'm very comfortable working from, you know, a hotel room.
Yeah.
We have great technology. Our bank, about 95% of people right now are working remotely, very seamlessly. And realize how lucky we are to work, you know, with the players we work with and the families, and then, you know, our own teams. You know, the people that help me. I really miss working with them every day too. So.
Look, they say all the players will lose a lot of money.
Well, right now there's still a lot in the air. Like, you know, they haven't determined how they're going to finish the season. You know, in the NHL, players don't get paid during the playoffs. So there's, you know, without getting into too deep into it, they're okay. They got most of their season's paychecks. So we by nature are conservative. We always keep a lot of cash. We always make sure clients never have to worry about money.
Perfect.
So, you know, yeah, so that goes back to that cash flow plan. You know, like we sit down in the summer, we make a plan, and we know that when we sit down next summer, here's what it's going to look like. So there's no surprises.
Yeah. And you said that they gonna like continue the season. Do you believe in it?
Well, I really don't want to speculate. I obviously hope as a fan, somebody who's involved in the business, but I think first and foremost, everybody's got to make sure they're safe. But I think they're doing everything they can, because I think what this period's made everybody realize, and myself too, how much entertainment these guys bring into everyone's lives every day. You know, and I've heard comments from people that, you know, I've spent some time with over the last couple months, and or people I'm talking to, it's inconsistently, they really miss hockey, they miss sports. Sure. And I think, you know, when they come back, everybody will have a greater appreciation, because they're so exceptional at what they do. You know, this can't be replaced. Yeah, right, you are. Roman, it was nice to meet you. You know, I've heard great things, and good luck with your show. And, Thank you so much. Anytime, I'm always happy to chat with you. Thank you so much. С вами была Алена, хоккейный канал Тафгерл. Надеюсь, вы не скучаете на карантине. До новых встреч!